Autopsy doctors of Reddit, what was the biggest revelation you had to a person's death after you carried out the procedure? Former homicide detective here. Suspicious death, 30-ish male found alone by cleaning staff in the back row of a sparsely attended sci-fi movie. Strange scratching wounds around slash and mouth. Some petechiae in eyes and on cheeks, but no signs of strangulation. No obvious signs of chronic illness or disease. Presented as healthy, normal adult male. Found on his person was a wallet with normal contents and a single canceled movie ticket, indicating he went alone. Weird, spy movie shit going on here. Autopsy, a large amount of popcorn compacted in his esophagus. Like a half cup. Dude was apparently excited by the movie, stuffing popcorn in his mouth, and choked. The scratch marks around slash in his mouth were self-inflicted, trying to dig out popcorn, verified via fingernail scrapings. His was only DNA present. Loud movie, he was in the back, no one saw or heard him choke. I've never eaten popcorn again. Story 2. During my internship rotation a couple of years back, a 40-year-old guy came in because he suddenly collapsed while drinking with friends. He came in unresponsive, mouth bleeding, and not breathing, so we had to intubate him. For some reason, the endotracheal tube, the stiff tube placed inside the trachea to help the patient breathe, won't go in, but we managed to suction copious amounts of blood clots. After CPR, still with unsuccessful intubation, so we had to bag him with a face mask, the patient was declared dead, and diagnosed with a ruptured abdominal aortic aneurysm. During the autopsy, they found out that the guy was apparently shot by a gun from the top of the head, the entry wound was obscured by his hair, and was barely bleeding at all, and the bullet somehow went through the back of the guy's throat and made a hole behind the base of the tongue, which the endotracheal tube kept slipping into. Story 3. Worked at an animal hospital. They did necropsies for zoos all the time. An alligator died, and they shipped it to the hospital, refrigerated etc. to stop the decay. They took it out and put it up on the table. After doing all the paperwork, they started opening up the alligator. After the first cut, the alligator opened its eyes. Turns out it wasn't dead, the zoo vet mistook an illness for death and the low temperature put it basically into a coma. Edit, unfortunately this is all the information I know on this story. It's been 7 years since I worked at that place. Story 4. So I'm not an autopsy doctor or anything of the sort. I did sit in on a murder trial. The mom drowned her infant in hot water. She claimed she was giving her newborn a bath in the sink with one of those sling-type inserts so babies can't go under. The doorbell rang, she answered and came back to her kid in scalding hot water. She claimed the kid had somehow turned on the hot water and burned himself while she was answering the door, but drowning was the ultimate rule of death. In the autopsy photos, the most disturbing thing I've ever seen in real life is you could clearly make out hand marks on that poor child's skin, on his biceps. You could see the finger outlines like you do if someone slaps you. I was 18 years old taking a criminal justice class. Just the ease of watching the trail and her nonchalance killed most faith I had in humanity at the time. I know this doesn't quite fit the question, but for years I saw that boy's face in my sleep. What really kills me is despite the evidence she got off.